श्रीमत्परमगम्भीर स्याद्वादामोघलाञ्छनम् जीयात् त्रैलोक्यनाथस्य शासनं जिनशासनम्. The seven principles of Jainism. The Saptatattvas. The essential doctrine of Jainism centers around tattvas. In Jainism, tattvas are real substances which are uncreated. They are responsible for various states or conditions in which the individual souls exist. So, a tattva is a basic and ultimate reality that represents an aspect of existence. To be brief, the seven tattvas constitute reality. Faith in substances, ascertained as they are, is the characteristic of the soul, and it is the right faith, and it is an effective means of attaining liberation, as it concerns the souls worthy of liberation. The knowledge of these tattvas is said to be essential for the liberation of the soul. In Tattvartha Sutra, it is defined that belief in Tattvartha is the right faith. Tattvartha Shraddhanam Samyak Darshanam. That is, right belief or right faith is nothing but the firm belief in the true nature of the principles or the tattvas. Further, Acharya Umaswamy mentions in Tattvartha Sutra that the seven principles or the seven tattvas which constitute reality are Jiva Jivashrava Samvara Nirjara Mokshastatvam. Jiva, the living being. Ajiva, the non-living being. Ashrava, influx. Bandha, bondage. Samvara, stoppage. Nirjara, gradual dissociation of karmas. And moksha, liberation, constitute the seven principles of reality. The study of these seven principles or tattvas is of primary importance for a person longing for emancipation. These tattvas form the core of the Jaina religion, as these seven tattvas are the manifestation of the ethical and religious inquisitiveness of the human mind. The first principle of the seven principles or fundamentals is Jiva Tattva. Jiva Tattva is all about living beings. Jiva is understood as soul or living being. In fact, the two most fundamental concepts are Jiva and Ajiva, the living and the non living. Living beings and non living beings are the two substance types which comprise the universe. According to Jaina philosophy, a living being is neither created or nor destroyed. Upayogo Lakshanam. In Tattvartha Sutra, it is stated that the distinctive characteristic of the living being is consciousness. Upayoga is attentive consciousness, that is, the state of being able to see, hear, feel, etc. The souls marked by consciousness are of two kinds, samsarino muktascha. All living beings are described as of two types, the transmigrating souls and emancipated souls, samsari jiva and mukta jiva. Samsari jiva is transmigrating soul. Transmigrating souls are moving from birth to birth, or transmigration means moving in an endless cycle of birth, death, and birth. Living beings going through transmigration are called empirical souls, samsari jiva. Those living beings who have freed themselves from transmigration are the emancipated or the liberated souls, mukta atmas. But every living being is covered by karmic matter. From the beginning of time, it is the karmic matter that keeps the soul away from the realization of its true nature. It is due to karma one feels pleasure or pain, reincarnates in the different form of life, acquires certain types of body and the duration of life. Living beings are interdependent, or the function of all living beings is to help each other. This sutra, Parasparopagraho Jivanam from Tattvartha Sutra, emphasizes on the importance of rendering of help to one another. This sutra is used as the logo of Jainism, and the priority for the practice of mutual help should be the quality of all living beings is mentioned in this sutra. The second among the Saptatattvas is Ajiva, that is, non-soul or non-living being. The non-soul is opposed to the nature of the soul in its characteristics. Except living beings, everything else in the entire universe is non-living substance. Ajiva is lifeless matter without consciousness, so non-life. Jaina cosmology regards the universe as comprising six substances called Shaddravyas, consisting of Jiva and Ajiva. Ajiva, or non-living being or substance, is further divided into five categories, namely Pudgala, Dharma, Adharma, Akasha, and Kala. Pudgala is matter, Dharma is medium of motion, Adharma is medium of rest to soul and matter. Akasha is space and Kala, that is time. So, living and non-living together are called Shaddravyas. As Jiva and under non-living substances, five substances Pudgala, Dharma, Adharma, Akasha and Kala. Together they are called Shaddravyas. Dravya is a substance which has got three characteristics. It has the quality of existence, it has the quality of permanence. Thirdly, it is the substratum of attributes and modes. A dravya is thus neither created nor destroyed. Its essential qualities remain the same, and it is only its paryaya or mode or condition that can change. The third among the seven principles is ashrava. Ashrava is the inflow of auspicious and evil karmic matter into the soul, which is influx. Just like water flows in a pond through a number of streamlets, so also karmic particles flow towards soul from all directions due to activities of mind, body, and speech. Kaya Vagmanaha Karma Yogaha is the sutra in Tattvartha Sutra by Umaswami Acharya. Auspicious activities of mind, body, and speech are the causes of meritorious karmic particles, that is, meritorious influx, punyashrava, while inauspicious activities of mind, body, and speech are the causes of demeritorious influx, that is, papashrava. In other words, activities performed with good intentions are the causes of influx of meritorious particles, and activities performed with bad intentions naturally are the causes of influx of demeritorious particles. Activities of mind, body, and speech cause vibrations in the environment around soul. So, this flow of karmic particles towards soul is called ashrava. The soul forgets its own nature due to its being veiled by karmic impurities, called karmas themselves. So, living beings get victimized to the transmigratory cycle due to this inflow of karmic matter, which itself is called ashrava, the influx. The fourth among the seven tattvas is bondage, that is termed as bandha. The mutual intermingling of the soul and the karmas is bandha or bondage. The principle of bondage is an important spiritual concept of Jainism. It is the bondage which leads one to ever increasing involvement in transmigration. Bondage is caused by inflow of karmic particles, so influx brings bondage. According to Umaswami Acharya, Mithya Darshana Virati Pramada Kashaya Yoga Bandha Hetavaha. Mithya Darshana is Mithyatva, that is wrong belief or perversity of outlook. Avirati is non-abstinence, that is absence of self-control like indulging in immoral pleasures. Pramada, that is negligence to higher values of life and giving priority to the activities leading to sensual pleasures. Yoga refers to activities of mind, body, and speech which cause vibration in the environment and affect the state of the soul. These are the causes of bondage. According to Umaswami Acharya, the individual self attracts particles of matter which are fit to turn into karma as the self is actuated by passions. Just as the mixing of several juices of vegetables, fruits, and barley and flowers in a vessel produces intoxicating liquor, so also matter present with the self becomes transformed into karmic matter owing to the presence of activities and passions. Prakriti Stityanubhava Pradeshasta Dvidhayaha. Bondage is of four types, according to the nature and species of karmas, duration, fruition, and quantity of space points. Prakriti Bandha, it refers to the nature of karma that has been bonded with the soul. Sthiti Bandha, it refers to the state of karma when it gets activated and is extinguished, that is separated from the soul after fruition. Anubhava Bandha, that is potency of karmas. It refers to the intensity of experience resulting from the karmas which leads to the intensity of bondage. Pradesha Bandha, space points of karmas. It is concerned with the extensiveness and the aggregation of karmic particles associated with the soul. The four types of bondages are intimately associated and affect the soul accordingly. So, the steps are to be taken to stop gradually the new bondages and to eliminate the effects of existing bondages. The steps taken for the self-realization to stop and eliminate the bondages are by samvara and nirjara, that is dissociation of existing karmas with the soul. The fifth among the seven tattvas is samvara, means stoppage of karmas. The obstruction of the inflow of karmic matter into the soul is stoppage. Stoppage of the inflow of new karmas in soul is the first step in the process of liberation of the soul from karma. Samvara is the opposite of asrava. It is so called as it prevents the entry of karma into the soul. The sutra is Asrava Nirodha Samvaraha, means that the obstruction of influx is stoppage. Samvara is, in simpler words, is wiping away of the past karmic particles and stoppage of the inflow of new karmas. Affective states of desire and aversion and activity of thought, speech, or body are the conditions that attract karmas, good and bad, towards the soul. When those conditions are removed, there will be no karmas approaching the jiva or the soul, that is complete samvara, which is a sort of protective wall to the soul, shutting out all the karmas, is established round the self. Thus, samvara is the stoppage of inflow of karmic matter into the soul. So, this samvara or stoppage acts as the harbinger of spiritual development, as it shuts the doors of the ingress of karma. The next principle is nirjara. Nirjara means dissociation, that is, the separation or falling off of the part of karmic matter from the soul, that is, the gradual removal of karmic matter from the soul. If the function of samvara is to arrest the influx of karma through different sources by stopping the inlets, the function of nirjara is to remove the accumulated karma in the soul. Karmas fall off after giving pain or pleasure, as these cannot stay on after fruition at the end of their duration. Just as food items or certain things decay in course of time, dissociation takes place after the fruition of karmas. Ripening in the usual course is vipaka, and being made to ripen prematurely is avipaka. So these two types of nirjara is mentioned, vipaka nirjara and avipaka nirjara. In the continuous cycle of transmigration, the individual self wanders for countless periods of time, whirling round and round among the four states of existence in various births, and the auspicious and inauspicious karmas associate with the self reach the stage of fruition gradually. Acharya Umaswamy states that dissociation of karmas is effected by penance and also by other austerities. Tapasa nirjaracha. Tapa is penance, which is very important for both samvara, that is stoppage, and nirjara, that is dissociation of karmas. Acharya Kunda in Panchastikaya, while dealing with this subject, states that a person who has practiced a number of austerities and observed rules for the purification of his activities will be able to shed away many of his karmas. A person who understands the real nature of the self and the futility of the attachment to the objects of the world will have right knowledge and thereby acquire the ability to destroy the karmas due to purity of his thought and action. The force which right belief, right knowledge, and non attachment generate becomes the cause of premature shedding of karmas. That is called avipaka nirjara. If the hole in a ship sailing on the ocean is not closed, then water enters the ship and the passengers certainly go down. But if the hole is plugged, then the passengers reach their destination. Similarly, if the inflow of karmas, that is influx, it is stopped when there can be no obstacle to emancipation. Moksha, the last of the 7 fundamentals, is moksha. This is the ultimate goal of every individual. This is the attainment of the true nature of the individual soul. This is the stage of inexpressible bliss. Complete separation of the soul from the matter is moksha or liberation. When the self is freed from the bondage of karma and has passed beyond the possibility of rebirth, it is said to have attained moksha. So, liberation is the highest idea to be attained by the self at the time of perfection. In Tattvartha Sutra, it is stated that owing to the absence of the cause of bondage and with the functioning of the dissociation of karmas, the annihilation of all karmas is liberation. Bandha hetva bhava nirjarabhyam krishna karma vipramukto mokshaha. The attainment of complete liberation is the total destruction of all karmas at the same time. After leveling down the duration of all the remaining karmas so as to be equal to that of the Ayu karma. So, moksha, the final stage of self-realization, is the stage of absolute perfection. This stage lasts only for the period of time required to pronounce 5 short syllables. At the end of this period, the soul attains the perfect and disembodied liberation. Tadanantaramurdhvam gachatya lokantat. This sutra, in the last chapter of the Tattvartha Sutra, states that immediately after attaining this release from all karmas, the soul darts up to the end of the universe. To sum up, the complete separation of the soul from the matter is liberation or moksha. When we get rid of all karmas, we attain liberation. This is the aim of every living being, to obtain emancipation from perpetual slavery of suffering caused by matter. Once the liberation is attained, there is no suffering of any type of birth, death, rebirth, or transmigration. Jains worship such liberated souls possessing godlike qualities. This insight into the nature of these 7 fundamentals or Saptatattvas is absolutely necessary to the ethical and the spiritual life, and thereby to understand the essence of Jainism.